We have an update on a traffic alert we brought to you at noon. Part of I-91 South in West Springfield was shut down earlier after a tractor trailer got into an accident with two sedans near exit 10A. State police say the tractor trailer was jackknifed and is in the process of being removed from the roadway. The Department of Environmental Protection also responding to that scene for a fuel leak resulting from that crash. And the state police says all lanes have since reopened, adding one person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Police are investigating the cause.